All right, folks, saddle up because we're heading west for a
West.
deep dive into True Grit,
Oh, yeah,
the
classic.
1969 John Wayne version.
John Wayne.
So whether you're a fan of Westerns or you love John Wayne or you just like a good revenge story,
Absolutely.
I'm going to break it all down.
It'd be fun.
So True Grit tells the story of Mattie Ross,
14 years old.
14 years old.
Oh,
She's headstrong, and she wants revenge for the murder of her father.
that's right.
And to do this, she hires
Rooster Cogburn.
the toughest U.S. Marshal,
Yes. Toughest U.S. Marshal around.
one-eyed U.S. Marshal.
That's right. And they're joined by Texas Ranger LaBouffe.
Right, LaBouffe, who's also after the same outlaw for a different crime.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I think is so interesting about this film
Yes.
is that it's a Western,
It is a Western.
but it's told through the eyes of a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's what makes it really interesting. I think
Right.
it kind of changes your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, and she's not your typical damsel in distress.
No, not at all.
Like, she is tough.
Tough.
She's resourceful.
Resourceful.
And she negotiates with these, like, really, really hardened lawmen. Like, she's a pro.
And she's good at it.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes her such a compelling character.
You know, she's not afraid to stand up for herself.
Right.
She's not afraid to tell these guys what she wants.
She knows what she wants, and she's going to get it.
Exactly.
And I think that
she even buys back her father's ponies.
Yes.
From the man who bought them.
she's wheeling and dealing.
Wheeling and dealing, yeah. So
And that was kind of unusual, I think, for a
Western.
Western, especially for that time.
Yeah, for a Western, especially at that time, to have a female lead
Right.
who's so strong and so independent.
And she's not like, a love interest.
Right.
She's not there to be rescued.
She's the one doing the rescuing.
Yeah.
And speaking of tough,
Speaking of tough.
John Wayne as Rooster Cogburn.
Oh, iconic.
This is like one of his most iconic roles.
I think it's the role that he won his only Oscar for. It is the role that he won an Oscar for.
Yeah, and he brings his signature, like, gruffness,
Yeah.
like that kind of grumbling,
Like
like
that swagger.
swagger, yeah, but he also has this, like, this soft side,
Yeah, he does, especially with Mattie.
especially with Mattie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see him kind of soften up a little bit,
Yeah, it's like a father-daughter
a little bit of a father-daughter
relationship. Yeah.
which is interesting,
Because they're both,
so different.
they're both kind of loners in a way.
Right.
And they both have this, like, really strong sense of justice.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that makes this film so enjoyable is the dynamic between the three main characters.
Yeah.
Rooster, Mattie, and LaBouffe.
Right.
They're an unlikely trio.
They are.
They're constantly bickering.
Bickering, yeah.
Yeah. But, they kind of rely on each other.
For survival.
Yeah.
They need each other to get through this.
And I think the film does a great job of using humor
It does.
to kind of like
Break up.
break up the tension. The tension.
You've got these shootouts.
Speed outs.
You've got chases.
Yeah.
And then you've got these really funny moments.
When in the middle of all this action.
Right.
It's good.
And I think that's what makes the film so rewatchable.
It makes it really entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned shootouts.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about the final shootout.
That final shootout with Ned Pepper
Ned Pepper.
and his gang is incredible.
It's so good.
It's so intense.
Intense.
So suspenseful.
And the way they film it.
Yeah, like the cinematography is made.
The way they build the tension.
You're like on the edge of your seat
on the edge of your seat.
the whole time. And the way it ends,
Bittersweet.
it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's really heartbreaking.
It's sad.
I think the ending is just so powerful.
Very powerful.
Where Mattie makes sure that Rooster
Has a place
has a place in her family cemetery.
in her family cemetery.
It shows the bond that they formed over this journey.
It's like they started out and they didn't really respect each other that much.
Right.
But by the end, they really
Cared about each other.
cared about each other. Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this film so much more than just a Western.
It's about relationships, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about, loss.
Loss.
Overcoming hardship.
Yeah,
The kind of things that make us human.
absolutely. And it really makes you think about what it means to have true grit.
Mm.
So I think True Grit is a classic for a reason.
Yeah, I think so, too.
It's a film that stays with you long after you've seen it.
Definitely.
And it's a film that I think everyone should see at least once.
At least once.
So we've had our deep dive
Deep dive.
into True Grit.
True Grit.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you learned something.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about the film.
What do you think about Mattie?
Yeah, she's one of your favorite female characters.
One of the best.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
We do.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives
More deep dives.
into the world of film.
See you next time.
Until next time,
Happy trails.
happy trails.